Forget trying to keep up with AI. It's moving too fast. It's time to think differently about it. Welcome to the AI Readiness Project, hosted by Shannon and Anne Murphy. They're here to help you build the mindset to thrive in an AI-driven world and prepare for what's next.
All right, are you ready to thrive in an AI-powered world?
And get ready for what's next? Absolutely.
We got to get ready for what's next. We got to do it. We got to do it. Hey, Anne Murphy, what's happening?
Hey, Shannon, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm sporting a bandage on my one eye here, but it's invisible. But you know, I had some corneal abrasion action going on, but I'm good now.
So is it no longer abrased?
Well, I think it is. What the bandage is allowing is for new cells to de-abrase it.
To de-abrase? Is this like?
We'll just see how successful that is, I suppose.
Is this like how we what is the phrase from the AI salon? You got to de-transmogrify yourself?
oh, discombobulated? Yeah.
Discombobulate and recombobulate?
Yeah, the cells on the surface of my cornea got a little discombobulated, and we are now recombobulating. The recombobulation is happening.
The recombobulation is happening. It's a slogan. This is where we are right now. The things we say today.
Yes, exactly. How you been?
Good. It's been a super exciting time. Last week we did this big event called AI Renaissance with all of these amazing women talking about how AI coming into their life has meant A or B or C. And one of the sessions that I cannot forget is a woman named Narine Weldon gave us a session on ethics. And what she did that was so cool, hadn't been through this before, she gave us a set of very gnarly ethical conundrums. But by the way, I'm looking at them and I'm going, oh my God, this is so gnarly. And then I look at what stuff I'm working on. I'm like, wait a second. So is the stuff that I'm working on.
Oh, wow.
We're now in this space where some of the stuff that we're doing is coming together and bumping up against our own, values. It's not quite as, we're not dabbling anymore, right? Yeah. We're integrating this stuff into our lives, other people's lives, into businesses, into communities. And so she was sharing these things and I was kind of gobsmacked by how complicated they were. And then I was reflecting on some of the things that I'm working on. I'm like, oh my God, it's the same thing. It's very complicated.
Let's dive in, because I think I think what you're hitting on is really important. And what I'm going to talk about later, tease this up as well.
Perfect.
So it sounds like you were, I don't know, newly introduced or introduced to a new level of sophistication, or that you're at a different level. So like, where are you in your readiness journey, kind of in the context of that?
Well, in the context of that, what has happened is something that I thought would never happen. I thought I would be able to stay out of this, is that through the work that I'm doing with organizations who are implementing AI stuff, I see people's jobs shrinking. And I'm the one
to even be recommending that.
And the worst, that's when I was really being a wuss about saying it. I'm the one sharing the data that says, you can keep paying people X, or you can keep paying this many people X. You're
like the two Bobs in the Office Space movie, right? The two Bobs came in and laid
I mix all the Office things up. There's Office Space and there's The Office, and then there's Office Max.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So and I don't mean to make light of it, because it's people's livelihoods on the line, and at the same time, what AI is making possible means that the organization can make more efficient use of their money, right?
And still exist. So the company.
That's yeah.
Right. So the company could just go away. It could keep at this very manual, very bespoke, precious way of doing things.
Oh, fascinating.
But they won't exist for very long. They just won't be able to compete on price. if they want to compete on price and the company itself wants to be here in 10 years, then there's going to be this dip, this valley for a little while where it's going to really, really suck because jobs are shrinking. I don't know how ugly that phase gets, how that part can be mitigated, because there will be new business, there will be new jobs, there will be new things for people to do. But in that medium part, that middle part, it's going to be ugly.
And how are you advising or consulting on the people that those companies should keep?
So, okay, good question. And this is probably another of the layers, but I haven't been in a situation where I've had to talk about any one person, one job. It's been, how do all these individual jobs justify themselves completely? Right?
Oh, I see. Oh, that's fascinating.
It's been no reduction in number of people, but certainly reduction in full-time equivalents of people, so they can. Well, let me back it up. Let me just be real honest. The people who aren't using AI, I cannot imagine how you would keep them on, because they're going to be the most expensive. How?
Yeah, well, they're going to be the most expensive and the most limited, right? So even if they're excellent at their one thing, they can only do the one thing, right?
They can, yep, and it's not, the thing that they're doing isn't better. So then you're just being nostalgic, which is nostalgia is okay. It's also just really expensive in a business.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, what you're talking about reminds me of my friend PJ that I used to work with a long time ago. He's got an agency, and he's run agencies for a lot of years. And in the past year or so, he switched it to all AI. And he ended up letting go of his copywriter and giving all of her all of her work to the account person, who is not a writer, and who reluctantly took it on, and is now doing excellent and loves it. And I asked him, why did you let go of one and not the other? And his answer was crystal clear. He said, because the account person has taste.
I remember that.
I know that she will not let something go out of the company that doesn't pass her, that hasn't passed her muster. She won't let it out the door. And the other person simply didn't have that. She was just an execution person.
Yeah.
Didn't have that sort of broader perspective. So for me, there's something about people being self-aware, people being curious, people being a little ambitious, that becomes the collection of attributes of why someone is more valuable than someone else. Like, and it's not even more valuable. It's who's got the mental framework to be successful with AI.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. One of the things I've noticed along these lines is when I do the interviews, so we start out, when we do our assessments, the way that we do them is by interviewing people who work in the organization. And I can always tell who really strategized about their meeting with the AI consultant. The smart ones know, and they roll in with examples of how they've been using AI and how much they can't wait to use AI.
Yeah.
And people will tell me ahead of time, oh, when you meet with so-and-so, just know they're really afraid of it. They're really against it. They won't use it or whatever. And then I sit down, turn on the recorder, and they're like, they've got examples, and they're like, da 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 da. That is a huge piece of advice, people. If the AI consultant shows up on your calendar, you need to be very enthusiastic about AI when you talk to them.
Yeah.
Because those transcripts are getting turned into a little digest about how you feel about AI, and you want your owner or your bosses or whatever to know that you're on team AI.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So.
It's, but I kind of feel like what you're also hitting on is I feel like the term mental health is overused these days, but like there's a mental health aspect to what you're talking about for yourself as someone who knows enough about AI to know what's coming. And it's not even know what's coming, like you know what's here, right?
Yeah, right.
What you know is coming is that the companies you're interacting with are going to start using the tools we have today, and that's going to change things, right? So it's not even like you're a soothsayer into the future of technology. It's just you knowing what's possible today means that you're in a position of responsibility to help get that company educated about what they can do. That's got to take a toll on you about like just knowing what's coming for that organization, and then helping them get through that is also taxing. And then for the people that are affected, it's also taxing. I feel like there's layers of impact here that we're just going to have to process through some stuff.
You have to process through some stuff. And I will say I'm in more conversations now where I sit down and I think, have I eaten? Have I slept? Have I exercised? Because the empathy that's required in some of these conversations, I can't pour from an empty cup. And I'm impatient and I am intolerant of the people who are saying, you know, I told you I went to a book reading the other day and somebody said something awful about how AI is ruining the world.
Yeah.
And I said, my name is Anne Murphy and I work in responsible AI. And here are some ways, blah, 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 blah. And afterward, these people said to me, how you must have to defend responsible AI. What kind of a term is that? And I about snapped because I'm just, like, I had no empathy that day for somebody who's going to say that there's no such thing as responsible AI. So going into these conversations, we talk about how we need to use our empathy, but like, man, oh man, it is not a blank check of empathy here. And it's been taking a toll for sure in a fine way. I mean, I'm fine, but it's a lot.
Well, but I think that, listen, every time there's been a technological advance in history, it has been met with resistance, and sometimes, really dramatic resistance. And I don't think this is any different. I think that more and more people are starting to understand the profound impact of AI. And I think as that happens, I'm starting to notice, just on platforms like LinkedIn and X, and certainly Facebook's really bad this way, but I'm seeing more of it on X, which is generally a very AI friendly kind of environment, is I'm seeing more and more, kind of negative voices, and this is bad. And, how could this be good? How can this happen? My philosophy on that is, yes, there are challenging things about it, and it's not going away.
And
then if that's the case, you have two choices. You deal with it or you don't. And if you don't deal with it, if you don't say, okay, I'm going to figure out what this means for me, then AI happens to you.
Right.
And that just seems like an awful place to be. Like, I think you and I are both in this place of passion for getting people up to speed as quickly as possible so that they've got some agency in their own lives, that even if this stuff is accelerating and changing everything, at least you can be in the game rather than just having the game happen to you.
I wonder if there's a step here where I need to find out from some naysayer, can we agree that it is happening regardless of how you feel about it? And then we can decide if we're going to have a conversation.
Because here's my thing on that is, if they don't accept that, then they just don't.
Right.
But if they accept that it's not going away, it's like, well, like, what are you going to do about it? Right. You can have all the opinions that you want, but if you, independent of your opinion, it's still going to happen. So you might as well just deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Might as well. I mean, or just sit here with your head in the sand and hope for the best, I guess. And like, I don't know, don't have kids or grandkids or their grandkids.
That's good. So let me tee up Something to pay attention to this week.
Good.
All right, you good?
Yeah, I was just testing my mic, and I
Okay.
don't see any change. I don't see any changes. But if you're hearing yourself, let me know.
Okay, I can hear myself a little bit, but that's all right.
Okay.
Okay. So for the past, how long's vibe coding been around? You know, these platforms like Lovable and Cursor and Bolt and all these different things where
6
you can
weeks? 6 weeks?
a little longer than that.
Okay.
For some amount of time, these things have been around. One of my favorite things to do on them is try to get them to create old arcade games. Like it's just a test I have of like try to get it to make a recreation of Frogger or you know, Asteroids was one of my favorites, right? And it's they're just always bad. They just don't work. The physics are bad. The graphics are bad. They're just blocks, whatever. So 3 nights ago, Lovable came out with the new version, Lovable 2.0. Lovable.dev is the site. They came out with version 2.0, and I went into it and I said, you know, same prompt that I've always used, make me a clone of an Asteroids game and make it have good physics and good graphics and look like the original. And for the first time since I've been trying these things, it was essentially as good as Asteroids. There were some really small nuances to it, but it was at a completely different level. I remember a similar thing happening with ChatGPT where I had this prompt for ages I used, write an Eminem style rap about quantum mechanics. And I always wanted it to do really sophisticated internal rhyme schemes and wordplay and things like Eminem does, and it never did it. And last November, OpenAI had a creative writing update, and all of a sudden it could do it. It went from not being able to do it to all of a sudden being able to do it. And so I just experienced the same thing with Lovable with the programming side. And the things that it's doing are increasing in sophistication. And so the thing that I think to pay attention to this week is that pay attention to how close these tools are getting to moving from sort of 80% of what you want it to do to like 90 or 95% of what you want it to do. And I think it gets to what you were talking about with the companies that you're working with is we are very, very close. If you look at, there's a tool out there right now called GenSpark, which does like autonomous research. It's kind of like Manus, where it's an agent that takes a bunch of steps on its own. We're very, very close to a tipping point where with a very simple prompt, we're going to get back incredibly sophisticated, you know, multi-domain outputs that really are the equivalent of 3 or 4 or 10 people doing the work. And I feel like it's just a completely different thing to be in a world where, you know, okay, it can write an email as good as me, or it can give me a full business plan with research on the competitors, with a go-to-market strategy, with marketing copy, and like all of that stuff delivered in 15 minutes. Like how you even process what you do with that kind of power and who gets to wield it and how they get to wield it. Like I feel like we're in the middle of this weird transition from simplicity to more complex, more sophisticated outputs. And that's going to put some pressure on people to understand what that means and how to use it and how to evaluate it even.
I think that what you're saying is going to have a huge impact on not just those of us who are in AI, but us as consumers of all content, products, services, everything, in that we will be able to have exactly what we want when we want it, but we don't know how to determine what we like and what we want to do, right? I shared this example of, you know, last night I had a conversation with my chief soul officer, Sheila, who is inside ChatGPT. And the conversation that I launched into was, you know, I'm sick I don't feel good. I know that what I should be doing is watching a movie. That's what normal people do when they're sick. They just, close up they close up Slack, right? They stop learning stuff and they just consume media. And I asked her, how come it's so hard for me to select a movie? And she explained to me what about me makes it hard to select a movie.
And was it right? Did it feel
Oh,
on?
100% right. I was like, now I'm like, how can I choose anything? Like, what a complicated, high maintenance, like, person I am. It's amazing. Anything gets through this fortress. And so, it was really cool because I learned about how I select what I want to do with my time, which was an important learning because we're going to have more time. And she also was able to weave a suggestion through this thread, right? And it was like, okay, what are all the other areas where I'm going to need help choosing, because someone is going to create something in 15 different formats like that, right? And I get to decide, do I want to consume it in a slideshow, in a choose your own adventure movie, in music format? Do I want it to be spoken word to me? What kind of spoken word? Do I want to actually read something? What size font? As consumers, we are going to have to elevate really quickly in order to just navigate through our everyday lives.
That's fascinating. It reminds me, you and I were talking in an earlier conversation about adaptability.
Yeah.
And like, I also start to go to this place about, is there, if the thing creates a business plan, because it can create a good business plan and maybe even a world-class business plan in 15 minutes, do I take the next year executing that business plan, or do I do a new business plan 3 weeks from now? Like, what is the permanence of what were historically very sophisticated things, right?
Yes.
Or do I do a full-on competitive analysis on a weekly basis rather than a quarterly basis? Like, does this start to change the cadence of how we do business? And then who chooses that? And like, how adaptable do we need to become, or how adaptable do we want to become? And if you say, okay, I'm going to keep the cadence the way the cadence has always been, but your competitors are operating on a completely different cadence, how do you compete with that? I don't know that you can, but how do you do that change management? Like, and how, so anyway, I feel like the questions about what we do with these capabilities are so unknowable right now. Like, I feel like the only way to deal with it is just to go through it, right? Which is what this whole podcast is about.
The impermanence of solutions, or the impermanence of habits, or like brand loyalty, I think that is a huge piece of that adaptability, is our willingness to let go of something we've built to go to the next thing. Like you said, is it the business plan that stands the test of 5 years, or 5 quarters, or 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Now, the beauty of it is that because we have this place of like one step removed, oftentimes, because we're using AI, we're not quite as like psychologically attached to our ideas and our plans. We can let them flow in and out a little bit more easily. And I think there's a lot that's really good about that. The tricky part is when we have hit on the right thing. Like, it is the way we should be going, the direction that the universe wants us to go, and that commerce wants us to go, and that our heart wants us to go. And now another idea that cost us 1 penny to come up with comes along and starts taking our attention away, especially for the ADHers.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I kind of feel like the ADHDers are going to confront, kind of a glut of ideas, and the people that love process and consistency are going to face being stuck with ideas that that may, their time may have passed, and they're going to
Yeah.
stick with them. And probably the art is somewhere in between the two. Again, this goes back to the idea of community, where being in community or within your company, collaborating with people that have those different world views.
Yes.
I like process and, locking everything down. Okay, great. And I like changing things all the time. The reality has to be somewhere in between. So how do we get the best of both as AI is just barreling forward?
Absolutely. And we had a conversation recently with one of our collaborators where we had to ascertain, like, for real, how much of this is what you really think and how much of it is what AI wrote for you, right? Because we got this just beast of an output, and it was sent to us as the deliverable, and it was like, okay, yeah. And now, yeah, did you read it? Because what I really needed to know is what she really, really thought, right? I needed to know where there was, gas in the tank for this project versus some really kick-ass stuff that Manus had come up with, but there's no heart and soul in it. And so
what's going to survive the gauntlet of reality, right?
The gauntlet of reality. I think there's going to be a lot of those conversations taking place between managers, and employees of what if this is true to you? What if this feels like it has energy behind it? And what if it is just a bunch of gloopy, gloppy ChatGPT written content, Yeah,
I think that's massive. And I think that is the answer. The answer is, a brand is a promise, and the people running that brand have to know what the brand stands for and be able to look at those outputs and filter them through that and say, this is actually what's most important, right? So that ability to take a stand for something, I think, increases in importance.
Yeah. We were talking about how we conflate time and value recently. In fact, in our previous podcast conversation, we were talking about how we conflate time and value, and how I hope that the consumers of the stuff that has a lot of AI in it don't mistake the two. Don't think that because something is old school, that means that it's better, or because something has AI in it, that means it's worse,
right?
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Because the distinction is false pretty soon here, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of my point with the lovable thing, that it got to the point that it was good enough that it's like, this is actually good enough.
Good enough is good enough.
Good enough is good enough. And it's not a compromise.
Yes.
Right. And so we're going to increasingly be getting outputs that are not compromises. And then we have to choose, to your point, what are we putting our muscle behind?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I saw you making asteroids that you were not impressed with. You're telling me that a couple of days ago you made an asteroids game that is good enough?
It's really, and I published it. It's on. If you go to my X, it's on there. I have a screenshot of it, and you can go play it. It's the only thing that's not good about it right now is the sound. But someone sent me all the original asteroid sounds, so I'm gonna put them in it. But the playability it's like, it's good enough. Like it is in the neighborhood of what I played when I was a kid in 1979 with quarters in the arcade.
Fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. All right, so let's talk about our community. So if you don't know the AI Salon, go to the salon.ai, click join our community. That'll take you into our Mighty Networks area there, where you can join and introduce yourself and meet lots of amazing people. It's a community of about 3,000 AI optimists and creators and business people and entrepreneurs. Absolutely amazing. Next week, we're going to be in Washington, D.C., advocating for, responsible, optimistic, positive approach, educated approach, as our legislators, try to protect us from the risks of AI. We want them also to look at the opportunity of AI and what it makes possible, and understand that both of those are important to protect. And so please join the salon, and you will not regret it. It's an amazing group of people, as you know.
It is an amazing group of people. And one of the places that I kind of got my sea legs with AI, was learning from people in AI Salon and Kyle, of course, but we were talking the other day, like it's just such a diverse group of people and interests and skill level and backgrounds. And it's just such a kind of a one-stop shop for people who are at least a little bit curious about AI.
Yep.
She Leads AI is very similar to that. If you are at all curious about what it's like, if you're a woman in AI and you're wondering, what would it be like if I had a whole bunch of other women friends who were similarly obsessed with AI, then go to sheleadsai.ai, and at the top, you can register to come for free to a social Saturday. We're here we meet virtually every Saturday from 10 a.m. Pacific to noon. It's just an unpretentious, kind of a little bit free-flowing, little sometimes unhinged, certainly casual conversation about AI, what we're working on, what challenges we're seeing, what we're worried about in the future, how we're going to solve it. We do demos, we do breakout groups, we go to town every time there's something new, so you get to learn faster that way. So come and check us out. You can come for free to a social Saturday, and we'd love to have you.
Beautiful. And then the final thing we'll talk about before we bring Michelle up. I'm so excited to have Michelle up here because
Me too.
I feel like we're just going to continue this conversation. If you go to areyoureadyforai.com, so the AI Readiness Project is done in conjunction with the AI Readiness Training Program, which is, by the time you watch this, could be launched, but probably not, probably will be coming. But if you go to Are You Ready for AI, sign up. The training program is coming. Super excited about it. It is based on the AI Festivus we had back in January, where we had 34 speakers across 24 hours of programming, and it was absolutely amazing. And we've put together this remarkable training course, and I'm really excited for people to experience it.
Same.
Beautiful. So now we have a special, and this is my favorite part of how we've set up our little show here, is we can leave them backstage and talk about them without them being able to defend themselves. And so I'll let you to introduce Michelle, do it, in a way that embarrasses her. So
that fully embarrasses her.
Exactly.
Well, the only problem is that Michelle and I have spent a weekend together, so she has blackmail on me that if I say too much, so I'll keep it. I'll keep it cute. Michelle Muncy-Silva. So first of all, cannot wait for all of you to meet Michelle here. If you haven't, you'll feel immediately like you've made a new friend. This is a very common occurrence with Michelle. You can't know her and not love her. Yeah. She, like so many of us and the people who we have on the show, is a multi-passionate. And a couple of the highlights from her background. First of all, she's an educator, a lifelong learner and a lifelong educator, coming up toward the end of her career as a formal educator, but really launching into this next era of her career, teaching all of us through her work with AI how to be a better version of ourselves just about every day. She also is a travel enthusiast, and one of the projects that she launched with AI was a travel blog. So she has gone through the whole media and production, communications. How do you use AI to get your word out there? And how do you do better product market fit? So she's got learnings from that. And in addition, we
could use, like, I think we're coming up on maybe our 10th episode here, so I think we've got some brain picking to do.
Yeah, we got some brain picking to do. We could do a little product market fit. We could use talking about who we think our audience is.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit. But one of the things that she's working on right now that has been such an incredible impact on the world is the Empowered by AI podcast, where she interviews women from all different walks of life about how they're using AI, what they've learned, what they've discovered about themselves, what they think that the future holds. And we have that benefit. It's like you're in a coffee shop, having a chat with somebody, learning from their life experiences, just from the comfort of your earbuds or whatever you're listening to. So here she comes.
That's awesome.
Michelle Muncy-Silva.
Michelle. welcome to the AI Readiness Project. We're so
Thank
excited.
you for having me. I was literally backstage listening to you guys going, oh my God.
I saw at one point your hand went up. I'm like, not yet. Not yet. Oh, we're so
What did I
excited.
get wrong? What did I get wrong?
No, I love the conversation. What did I get wrong? Gotta be kidding me. No, love the conversation.
Good.
Great.
Good.
Well, so
We're-
why don't you hop up, tell everyone, what you're up to, what you're excited about these days, what you're doing, and then we'll kind of open the conversation up.
Yeah, I am working on, we just opened up season 3 of Empowered by AI, and we opened it up with just absolutely next level. We had Kay Stoner on talking about relational AI, and it's just, as Anne pointed out, I think that is really the highlight for me right now is the learning that I'm getting to do is absolutely exponential because I am talking to some of the most amazing women constantly. We're airing episodes 2 times a week. And every time I talk to these women, it's just like, oh my God, I'd never thought of that. Thank you. Holy cow, moving that into my next phase. So it's just been such a joy. And I've been doing it since October, which to me feels absolutely in the infant stages, but like we were talking about earlier in AI years, I guess I'm what did Anne call me? OG?
I think you're OG at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have gray. I mean, that's totally legit, but I mean, really it feels like this is pretty all brand new, but I'm loving it.
I'm loving I think that women right now are just kicking ass in generative AI, and I'm just curious, what's your take on you can do this anyway. I mean, how do women approach AI different than men might be a take, or why do you think it is that women are so good at this?
God, that's really good. Well, I can speak from my experience, right? Because I can't speak for all women, but I can speak from my experience and what I've seen.
Yeah.
I am so used to wearing all the hats, right? So we actually, one of the things that I talked about when I started thinking about this interview was when AI first came on the scene, I was like, hell to the no. Do not give me one more thing, because I swear to God, I'll snap if you give me one more thing, because I can't sit still to begin with. And I don't think it's because I'm neurospicy like so many people that we know are. I think it's, based in fear, which could probably benefit from a couple rounds of therapy. But what means for me is that I never sit still, right? So I'm like, okay, this side hustle, Anne talked about it. I'm going to be doing this travel blog. So I'm learning how to build the website. I'm learning how to do this. I'm learning how to do that because I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it myself. And I'm going to do it well. And my mentor at the time, I had a mentor for email marketing for the blog. And she was like, okay, slow down for a second, because I want to show you something. And I'm like, swear to God, don't give me another thing. I'm already focused on what we talked about last week. Let me do that. And she literally grabbed me by the Zoom collar and she's like, no, you are going to meet with me and we're going to talk about this for an hour. And once I saw it and I realized, wait a minute, that can take shit off my plate. That can make it so this is doable. And that I was so incredibly willing to grab a partner. And that's really what chat became for me, ChatGPT. I was so ready to stop working in isolation and to have a partner and to get that kind of feedback immediately at 12:30 at night, at 1 o'clock in the morning, first thing when I wake up, because I had an idea. That was just so next level for me. And I was so ready for it because I was doing all the things. I was saving myself from burnout is what I saw it as. And then I saw it as, and I want to say relational now. I didn't think about that at the time, but it was that partner.
Relational.
Yeah. And I think a lot of women are so used to doing everything. I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing that hat. I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing that hat. I'm serving this person. I'm serving that person.
Yeah.
And when you finally see the partnership that you've got, like, oh my God, you can take that cognitive load off of me. Oh, I love you. Right? You know, oh, you and I are going to be besties.
Yeah.
Most women I know have named ChatGPT something because they're literally in a relationship with this tool. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're doing such amazing things with it, because it's like coming from this place of, oh, it can be easier than I was making it.
Wow.
Let's tell the nice people what our motto is, Michelle.
What if it was easy?
What if it was easy?
What if?
What if it was easy?
Because don't get me wrong, I'm coming to this with all my Gen X baggage, right?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to work hard as part of my identity, right?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to suffer in silence, do it on my own, you know, pick up the Gen X, you know, image that you want, latchkey kid, figuring all this stuff out on my own, you know, all that stuff. And I'm bringing all of that to the table. So while I am grateful, I think, you know, Anne and I have had this conversation. It's like, I use what if it could be easy as a reminder, right? It's a mantra, but it's also a reminder. It's like, where am I making this harder than it needs to be?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I've got a guest that comes on the show and will say something and I'll be like, holy shit, why didn't I think of that?
Right.
It's like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so taking that into next week.
Yeah. One of the things that we had early on in the AI salon, and I don't know if you had this in She Leads, but we had a lot of people, men and women, when they came in, would do a lot of apologizing.
Oh yeah.
I'm not really good at this. I'm sorry, I'm not good at that. I'm sorry, I'm not good at that. And as people have used it more, I'm seeing less and less of that, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
But my corollary to the what if it were easy is, what if you could do anything? That whatever are the limitations you gave yourself when you were 7 or 10 or 25, whenever you sort of wrote the rules in your head, like, you know, I can't be smart at this thing because I didn't go to the right school, or, you know, whatever it is. As these tools are getting better, like, that's feeling more and more like a daily reality, that we are getting to a point that we can start to ask that question. What if I could actually accomplish whatever I wanted to set my mind to? And then the question becomes, what do you set your mind to? So I'm curious, you know, how you're experiencing that sort of leveling up, or sort of elevating above the tactics, and where you might have had limitations, where now you're going, well, maybe I don't have those limitations. What's that experience been like for you?
Well, I think, like, Ethan Mullick talks about reconstructing meaning, right? Like, we're going to have to reframe the way we look at work.
Yeah.
And I think along the lines of what you're saying, I think there's a whole nother layer of that, in that we have to reconstruct limitation, right? We have to completely rethink. I'm putting myself in a box right now because I'm used to there being a wall that I hit, right? There was a reason why I was so frustrated.
9 years, right?
Right. I've only had 50 years of training.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so it's like, okay, there was a reason why, when my coach, that email marketing coach I was telling you about, when she called me and said, you got to look at this, there was a reason why my head was full, right? It's like, there's no more, because every wall I was hitting, it was like I was going to have to walk all the way around the wall by teaching myself something. And I was going to have to find all the resources myself, right? Nothing was just automatic. I couldn't just ask it. I was going to have to find.
Yep.
Right. So I was exhausted because of that box I had put myself in. And when you get to where I literally had one of my guests, I'm going to go back to the guests because they're just so amazingly intelligent. And with it, one of my guests literally just asked me, well, did you ask? Ask? What do you mean? Did I ask? Did you ask ChatGPT? Did you ask Claude? Did you ask them to show you?
Right.
Well, no. Like,
Yeah, because I know it's not possible, right? Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I have
It's
all
both
of this
layers.
experience that I'm bringing, and it is my own limitation that I'm bringing with me, right? So we don't just have to reconstruct meaning, we have to reconstruct the way we're thinking about this. We're starting question forward instead of, I mean, it's question forward now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I do about this problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
I feel like we've identified a couple of different eras. There's the era of I'm sorry, I don't know more. Then there's the era of learning how to ask good questions, right? We haven't really had to ask. We haven't had the permission, the authority to ask anyone some of these questions, right? There's the like, what if it didn't have to be difficult era? So this is much bigger than just how are we using some kind of a tool. I mean, this is a whole zeitgeist of Generation X being the ages that we are now going, oh, damn,
What if it was
I built a lot on that old way. I built a lot around making myself feel okay that my parents needed to be reminded at 10 p.m. to go look for me. I built a whole life that there was a commercial that goes on TV at 10 p.m. saying, "Where are your children?" And then all of our parents were like, "What children?" and now we're like in this much like flowier, like the promise of a better life is not only for the people who have all the tools to go through that brick wall. It's for everybody now, right? We don't have to go around the wall and above the wall. It's different. It's a different life.
Yeah, but think of the responsibility that comes with that, right? Because this is so unique to this moment in time, right? So you've got my mom, first one in her family to be independent female. I'm making my own money. That was my mom. My mom's a boomer. My mom was teaching me with what she learned was real for her generation. If you're going to be an independent woman in her world, you had to make your own money. And it couldn't be, any other thing but my job that brought me my money. Because of course her credit cards went immediately into my father's name, right? It wasn't until 1988, the year I graduated college, that a woman could even get a small business loan without testicles being able to co-sign for her.
Amazing.
Right? So we're talking, this is brand new knowledge for women, that anything is possible, because the people that came before us did the best they could with what they had to teach us to be independent. And that independence came from nose to the grindstone. You're doing your job. You're moving up the ladder in a corporate or industry field, because that's how you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And to this day, my dad is still like, hey, when you talk to your daughter, can you ask her, what is she doing with AI? Because he wants to invest in it, right? He totally loves the stock market and he wants to invest, but he has no understanding of what is possible right now. So he wants to talk to me because he doesn't get it. And so my mom and I have these conversations, and she doesn't get what I'm doing right now. She's heard of it, but the reason why I bring this up is not to get nostalgic, but to recognize we have a job to do if we're going to empower women to take ownership of this era. Because they didn't get anybody previously prepping them for, none of us did, but I think for women, it's especially poignant that we really do have to share the knowledge. And that's why communities like She Leads AI, the podcast group, it's really important that we have women talking to other women.
Yeah.
Because we've got a learning curve that we have to adjust for.
Amazing. So let me jump into the three questions. So we'll go into the kind of lightning round. And I think, especially in the context of what you just talked about, I love this first question. So for you, what was the tipping point where you knew you had to go all in on AI? And then describe what's happened since then, since that moment.
I was at an event, right? AI had kind of woken up creativity in me, and I was at an event where there was a launch. Someone was launching a digital magazine that was all geared around AI and visual creativity. And I was disappointed that there weren't as many people in the room that I thought the event merited. And so I was like, I need to amplify this. This is not just about me anymore.
Ah, wow.
I need to amplify this. There need to be more people in the room seeing what all of these women are doing. And so I put in the chat, I said, all right, everybody, at today o'clock, I launched a podcast because I want to just share all of this with anybody that wants to listen to it. And those were some of my first guests. I was excited. So cool. I'm like, damn it, this should not be as quiet as it is. It needs to be louder. It needs to be more. And so I decided better be part of the solution if I'm going to see a need. So that was it. Yeah.
I love it. I love that it was about needing to amplify the voice, right? That why aren't there more people here? Why? Yeah. And it's something Anna and I talk about all the time, right? That you said it earlier, and it really strikes me. There's a responsibility, like if we have this knowledge of what's possible, so many people don't, and it's coming. Like we are all experiencing how fast it's escaping away from us at this point already, and it's like, hey, like everyone. So, amazing.
Well, we're forgetting an incredible amount of stuff as time goes by, like being able to have a venue, Michelle, for your guests to be able to share things from their experience right now, rather than waiting for some moment when like a big expensive spotlight is on them, right?
Right.
You're able to amplify for them.
Yeah. Like what did Cindy Kuhn say at AI Festivus, right? She said, you need to start building the rafts.
The raft. Yep.
You need that's what I'm doing. I'm building the raft. Each one of the guests is coming on and giving some other person down the line a stronger foothold.
Yep. Absolutely. So another question that we have is, what is the other question, Kyle? We have 3 of them. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's a good one. This is a good one.
Don't make me read it to you from the chat. I got you, girl. I will read it for you if you want me to.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is the podcast where you have to go on and ask yourself questions. We didn't tell you that.
The perfect guest, right? I'm ready.
We'll empower you to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. So you have to ask the questions and answer them. Okay. So, gosh, I mean, we've been having a lot of fun with this question in a lot of different settings. So I cannot wait to hear what you say about it. So in one of your several areas of expertise, what is a trend in AI that you're paying a ton of attention to?
Oh my God, the relational AI, hands down. The idea of creating. I used to think of AI as a thought partner, right? Just, okay, I got somebody, I'm going to go back and forth with this person. Then you get to this second level where you're thinking AI as an intern, right? I'm going to create a persona that has all my institutional knowledge. They're going to hang on to it because memory's a thing. And that intern is going to work with me around my business. Fantastic. It just got jacked up a whole nother level for me with Kay Stoner. If you don't know her, go find her on LinkedIn because she's freaking genius. She's talking about that relational AI where you can have an entire team of AI personas that are working with you through a problem. And it is absolutely blowing me away because not only are they interacting with you, they're learning, like she's actually documented, they're learning from each other. Wow. So each one of those voices in the room is learning, and then they're learning from that learning, and then they're sharing that learning with you. It is just
remarkable.
Absolutely next level.
I know. And as these things get to agentic where they can go off and now take action, it's absolutely insane. But I think your point's a really good one, that if people haven't explored what it means to have different kinds of personalities that they can actually build, or they can just ask for in a ChatGPT chat, it really does change the conversation.
Yeah, but I think we need to allow the trajectory too, because I mean, not that it has to be linear for everybody, but because I had already played and had those surface level interactions, the idea of an intern was like, oh, this is so next level because I could connect it. You know
That's
what I mean? So I think it would benefit people if you relational AI is tripping you a little bit too much. Don't worry about it. You'll get to it. You know what I mean?
Back it down. Yeah,
You
start
can
with
back it down a little bit. And it's okay. Just know that that's that's going to really be exciting in a little bit for you.
Okay, this is good. So question number 3, and this you're going to have such good insight on this because of who you've been talking to. So what is your what does AI readiness mean to you? And what's your advice to someone just getting in the game, just like we just talked about?
Everyone that I have talked to, literally every single speaker has said, do not forget to play. Don't forget, because through playing with it, you see how you need to adapt to use it more purposefully.
Yep.
And I learned the hard way. I went straight in. I was working with an email marketing coach. We went straight into email, right? We're going straight into email. We're going to automate some emails. And it wasn't until I started playing around with it that I saw how to train it, right? So it's that play. We don't give ourselves that grace because it's go, go, go.
Yep.
But I think we need to, because there's learning in that play. And I hear it from guest after guest, is that the people who skip that step are really actually setting themselves back.
It's also a drag. It's like it's just a lot more fun if you put play in there. Right?
Oh, 100%. But, I mean, a lot of people, again, bringing forward that generational, I got stuff to do. I got to go. I got to be, right? Reminding yourself that the play is necessary. I think it is a benefit.
Yep.
I agree. I think of it as like a guilty pleasure. I have been thinking about it as a guilty pleasure to play. And then I realized sometimes I don't even know, it's not something that happened or whatever, but it's just like being steeped in this. I realized, wow, wouldn't it be cool if more of us could communicate in different mediums? I was thinking about other people and like all the different ways that we can learn. And then I realized, wait a second, wouldn't it be cool if I could communicate in different mediums, AKA getting serious about learning how to make images and getting serious about learning how to do video? Like, it's all there. It requires that we not just be quite so focused on the productivity, the hitting of milestones, et cetera, like we have been. It's like this unlearning process.
Right. And I think you need to do it with others. I mean, you guys are at the helm of 2 amazing communities. It's doing it alone is one thing, but eventually you're going to have a blooper that's so damn funny. You're going to want somewhere to share it. So, I mean, if for nothing else, put the 3-legged woman with her hand in a very odd place into a community. Let them laugh about it.
Yeah. Well, you also get that thing where someone just does something because they're who they are. They do it in a way that you never would have considered. And for me, that's the big unlock, because it's not just I'm going to go do what they did. It's that, oh, they thought about it from this complete opposite direction. Wait a minute. If I think about this other problem I have from that direction, I get a completely different answer, right? It is that sort of multifaceted worldview that you get to tap into. That's everything for me right now.
That's every time I interview somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's so addicting, right?
Yeah,
it's every time I'm talking to one of these women, it's like, never would have thought of that on my own.
Never would have thought of that.
I'm going to go run with that as soon as we hang up this call.
Yeah, exactly.
Hope you don't mind.
I'm going to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this has been absolutely awesome. Again, we talked about this on our last podcast, that we might want to consider bumping these up to 7 or 8 hours, because I always feel like we're just getting started in the conversation, and it's like, we've run out the clock. But this has been absolutely awesome, and congrats on Empowered by AI and what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank
you. Thank you, because this, you're still wearing a lot of hats, and you're still grinding it out, and it is in service to a pretty profound shift for society. The work that you're doing to amplify women's voices and to get those ahas out into the world is just incredible. Thank you for doing it. Do not burn yourself out. You must play. You must play as well.
That is true. That is true. That is true. And have the occasional adult beverage. It's all about the
occasional adult beverage.
You got to do that. Well, awesome. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
You guys have a good one. Thank you for having me.
See you later. Bye, guys.